Okay, so I want to make a sharpening video for this knife. Um, and I found out something from just looking at the edge. So I mean, anybody who has this knife, so you can see that it's crazy thick right before it gets, well, not crazy thick, but it's very thick before it gets to the secondary bevel. So when I say that's this little part that becomes the edge. So it's really thick before it gets there. And so I was kind of wondering why, because it cuts well, it's sharp. But when you have such like when you have something this thick before you go to the secondary bevel, and the secondary bevel is like a millimeter and a half or something like that, it's really hard to get it to be as sharp as this is. So I looked at it. So I looked down the edge basically, and then up against light, and saw that it seems like they put a hollow grind on the secondary bevel. So here I'll so I have this paper here to draw, and so basically, let's say this is the knife, and then the secondary bevel goes from here. They basically did this to the secondary bevel. So it's, they basically swooped it. So instead of having an edge like this, it has an edge like this. How this is a problem for sharpening, at least for me. This type of blade as is hard to sharpen just because of all the waves. So to sharpen on a flat surface, here's my my wonderful sharpening system. It's a piece of steel, a rectangular piece of steel with sandpaper on top, and I just go different grits, just in case you haven't seen a previous video I put up. So what I do is basically I use this piece of steel, and then I do different types of grits on top of sandpaper. So I go like from 400 to 800. I usually go almost double. I do double steps all the way to 3,000. This is 3,000. So to sharpen this, and this is used up already. To sharpen this on here, it's basically like, I mean, there is a way, and I'll show it to you how I'm gonna do it. So to sharpen on the flat surface, it's pretty much impossible on a flat surface, because you'll only get whatever touches the surface. So you'll probably like get here, and here, and you won't be able to do the angle you're supposed to. So that's one problem. And then the other problem we have here is it is a hollow grind. I mean, in my opinion, it is a hollow grind. I try to contact Cold Steel, and I haven't gotten a response yet. I asked them if it was. And if they do respond, I'm gonna make another video after I sharpen this. I'll let everybody know. So the problem is to make a hollow grind, you basically have to have two circular. Like, let's say this is a two different belt sanders. Let's say you have two belt sanders, and you have these spinning. So you need something like this, and then you touch this, you touch your edge on this, it buzzes, it makes these two concave grinds on both sides, and you have a hollow point. So I have nothing like this, and I mean, you know, and it's a tiny, it's like barely noticeable. I had to put it up in the light to be able to see what kind of grind it was. And the reason I looked is because when you have a super like I said, when you have a super thick, when you go from super thick to the secondary bevel, you have something very wide, and that's not really as sharp as this is. So that's why I decided to take a look at it, since I was gonna sharpen it. So I'll show you how sharp it is. But first, so what I have is flat. What I'm gonna use. So it's flat, and I'm gonna have to basically try to go with this angle or go with a different angle. Let's say I do one of these, and I take off this whole corner off, or I try to do this, and I get some really wide triangle. So I can either do this and still wear out most of this corner and have a super wide triangle, which won't cut mostly anything. Or I do this and have a very keen corner edge, and I'm gonna have to take this off. Either way, I'm gonna have to take off these corners here. So what that means, this secondary bevel is gonna have to come out to here. So once I get to sharpening this thing, because that thing has a little hollow grind, and Cold Steel, if you see this video and I'm wrong, let me know. But it's a little tiny hollow grind. So it's gonna have to come out a little bit more, not so much, but a little bit more. So it makes it so that anybody who wants to sharpen this knife has to basically reprofile the edge. So you can't really go right to reuse. You can't really redo this edge again, exactly how they did it, unless you have, you know, the machinery for it, which would be kind of nuts. So what I'm gonna do here, let me show you how sharp it is. Here's ooh, still kind of okay. See that? Still not crazy sharp. I mean, it can cut a bottle like they show, and I've seen other videos where they cut a bottle with it, but it's not crazy sharp. So it can cut that well. And what I'm gonna do to sharpen it is basically, and this is another reason why I like this little block. So this has 90-degree angles, and so what I'm gonna do is basically use the edge here, just the corner, to go over the edge. And then once it wears out there, I'm gonna move it to the corner again, move it to the corner again. So I'm gonna keep on using this corner with the sandpaper over it, and just go over it again. So the reason I like this more than stones too is this is another reason for it. When you use a stone, like a sharpening stone, if you were to do this, what I'm gonna do to sharpen this knife, you would basically wear out your stone on the edge, and eventually you would have, instead of having, you know, your 90-degree corner on your stone, you would wear it out and end up having kind of like a rounded edge with too much, and that would have too much surface, too much surface to basically do the edge you want to do on this. It would end up taking up more space and basically grinding more and more of your edge than what you would want, because it would start rounding off even more, or just going off into a bigger angle than what you want. So with this, it's always going to be 90 degrees. I'm gonna use different sandpaper, and I'll do the same thing. I'll go from, I don't think I have to go to 400 grit, so I'll probably go from 800 up. I'm gonna have to reprofile this this edge. I'm gonna stay away from the Lynn Thompson signature as much as I can, and see what happens. So I'm gonna have to dull this thing on camera. So for that, I'm gonna use my tungsten necklace. So why not? Because this is a very what do you call it? It's a very exact kind of thing. It's not exact. It's uniform. It's a very uniform way of doling this out. So instead of like doling it on this piece of steel or something like that, if I just dole it out on here, and I'll show you the tungsten. Oh wait, okay. So no scratches. No scratches. So, and I'll cut paper with this again. And I can feel the edge, basically. Trying not to get myself. So I mean, I'm gonna have to reprofile this anyways. Oh, just so you know, this is my second one. So I have one which I'm gonna keep, and that one's number 65, I believe. I forgot to check before this video, but from what I remember, and this is 133. So this is my second one. All right, I think that's enough. All right, I can't feel, everything feels the same now. Maybe, wait, did I feel something else here? I don't know. Okay, all right, whatever. So I don't know, that's why I like tungsten for some reason. Nothing impervious. All right, so you can see, super dull, still pointy, but wait, I think that's where I felt it. No, wait, no, it's cool. All right, there we go. All right, so for those of you who love knives, I am sorry, but I mean, this is the one I'm gonna carry. I'm gonna use it, so might as well put an edge on there that I actually want. I mean, it's the one they have is like fully functional. This is a pokey weapon. It's not really a cutty weapon, but it's a Chris, so I want it to be, you know, a cutty weapon also. So I'll resharpen this and I'll make another video on it. And I have one more dumb thing I want to do, and it's with this knife. I'll put a small video on this one. But yeah, so just the video, I'll put it up probably in about a week, maybe. I usually put up videos on weekends, so I'll try to do it by the weekend. If not, I'll try to do it as soon as I can. Okay, all right, well, all right, bye.